Once you've reached a light trace, you're ready to add your lavender essential oils to your soap batch. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take our lavender and we're going to pour these in, just like so. And then we're gonna go ahead and mix them in with a spatula. Do not blend here, we don't wanna seize our batch. Again, essential oils are a catalyst, so it does heat up our batch. You can test the temperature by touching it right here. If it's too hot to the touch, it's definitely too hot, and you wanna slow down on the stirring. After you've mixed in your essential oils and they're fully combined, it's time to get technical. This is so fun. So first, we're gonna separate our soap batch into two parts, base and top. So it's gonna be an even 567 grams of soap batter. So go ahead, pour the soap batter here. That's gonna be our base, and it's gonna be 50-50. So you're gonna go ahead and do that. And as you can see, we are still at a light medium. It's almost medium, but not quite. So we now have our top and our base. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm going to add a couple of scoops of my pink clay to the top. And I'm gonna do quite a few because this is gonna be our frosting, and I really wanna give it that pink color. This also contains natural silica, so it makes it really soft. Take our top and we're gonna whisk all of the pink clay in. We don't want any clumps or anything like that. We don't want any imperfections in our frosting. And then once you've mixed in all of the clumps, you're gonna go ahead and set it aside. We're gonna set it aside because we really wanna get that heavy trace, and letting it sit helps us get there. And then we're gonna take our base, and this, again, I'm so excited because we actually get to use our blender this time. Yes, so we're gonna take our blender, blending our base layer. You're gonna continue blending until you've reached a medium trace. Beautiful. This would take a couple minutes because right now we are still at a light trace. Go ahead. So we've finally achieved our medium trace that we're looking for. You can see the trailings on the top of the soap. They sit right on top beautifully. This is my tip for you to keep this at a super medium trace, because if you reach a heavy trace, it's gonna be difficult to get into these molds and it might get a little bit messy. You're gonna end up having to scoop it in like cake batter, and we don't wanna do that. So he's gonna very gently and very carefully pour into the tins. Beautiful. And make sure that you're pouring the soap just below the cupcake tin, because when we have that frosting, we want to give it enough base in the tin. So as you can see, as we're pouring, since it's taking a while, over time it starts to get thicker, and you can see that it's difficult to pour into the mold. When it reaches a heavy trace, I highly recommend just slowly paying attention. It's gonna get messy, that's okay. We do want a heavy trace to support the bottom. There we go. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna set our base aside, and we're gonna get working on our frosting. So I'm gonna go ahead and prepare my piping bags. In order to do this, I do have to take my gloves off. I will have to put them back on. To prepare your piping bag, it is just like baking, and you're going to first put the tip in first. You don't wanna cut the bottom off, or when you do put the soap batter in, it's gonna leak through, and we really don't wanna make a mess. So first we slide this into the bottom corner, just like that, into the bottom. And squeeze it into the crease to create that. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna twist this top so that when we put the soap batter in, there's no mess. And we're gonna just fold over the sides, just like that. There we go. So now your piping bag is prepared. You've twisted the bottom, you've folded over the top, and you have your piping bag in the base. And the last thing you're gonna do, because we've twisted off this top, you can go ahead and make this slice right here. Go ahead and just cut right where you can then push out a little bit. So that'll go ahead and do that once we add the frosting. So we're gonna set this aside and move on to prepping our frosting. And I'm gonna put my gloves back on. Again, we are still working with soap batter, and it can sting your skin just a little bit. So I'm just taking that safety precaution. So after you've prepared your piping bag, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna take your top mixture and you're going to blend until you achieve a heavy trace. In order to achieve that heavy trace for the frosting, we need to blend as much as possible without seizing the batch. So in order to do that, you want to keep your temperatures as low as possible. When a batch seizes, it starts to look like cottage cheese. So what you're really looking for are little chunks that just don't really look right. You need to keep this texture really smooth, so be aware when you're blending. So I do a couple of blends, and I'm always checking where my trace is at so I'm not caught off guard. This is gonna take quite a bit of blending, probably about 5 minutes at least. We really are looking for a super, super heavy trace here. So you're gonna want it so thick that you have to scoop it into your piping bag. This is because it has to be as thick as frosting or it will not hold this texture that we have on our piping bag here. We really wanna hold that cupcake look. So this is a heavy trace. We really don't try to accomplish this when using other soap bars, just because it's difficult to pour into the mold, and if it's too hot, this is when your soap batch seizes. So it is difficult to get a heavy trace if your temperatures are hot. Again, we have to be using low temperatures, or by this point your batch would have seized. That will harden over time because it'll begin the curing process, but I'm gonna disrupt it when I mix it up in a bit. We're gonna set it up to frost for about 5 to 10 minutes. We're gonna check on it. You wanna make sure that you can scoop it like frosting. See, it's already getting there. So we want it to hold itself. After letting your frosting sit, it should be really thick now. Look at that, you just scoop it up, and we're going to scoop it in. Now this might get a little messy, but that's okay. And just do a little bit at a time. Remember, you have the bottom twisted. Where it is twisted, you're gonna wanna pinch it so that it doesn't leak through prematurely. This is gonna get messy, don't worry, make sure you have your gloves on. Beautiful, so it's just like putting frosting into a piping bag. And now you can untwist and hold with your dominant hand like this. And you're gonna gently squeeze towards the bottom. And what we're gonna go ahead and do here is shake it down. We have a plate, so this is gonna catch anything that might fall. We're just gonna shake it. So we're gonna finally, we have it, looking like a piping bag. So we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna test really quick. I wanna make sure that it's holding that right there. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna start in the middle right here. And you're gonna gently squeeze and slowly go all the way around your soap. And you're just gonna stack on top, just like that. You're gonna go ahead and do this all the way around, just like that. And it really does look like frosting, it's so cute. And you can always get creative and squeeze a little bit different. I like when they really look different, every single one. That's the beauty of handmade soaps, is that no one ever looks the same. Give it a nice flick. Beautiful. There we have it. I am gonna take my gloves off now. It is safe to take my gloves off. So now that you have piped your frosting, it looks super cute and they're all different and unique. I do have these beautiful sprinkles. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take these. I'm gonna just sprinkle on top. These are food grade sprinkles. They're the same that you use for baking. You can eat them and they work well on soap. So I'm just gonna sprinkle them on top. Oh, it's so cute. And you can go crazy. Just get super creative. You can use whatever colors. I'm gonna do white and pink on this one. And just dump them on top. The soap will hold them in place so that when it cures, they won't be moving too much. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add sprinkles to our very last little cupcake. Don't forget to go crazy, get creative. And like I said at the beginning of the lesson, you can change the colors, you can change the decor, and there you have it. You have your beautiful birthday cupcakes. You may now set your soaps aside to cure. Allow to cure for about 4 to 6 weeks until a pH test allows.
I think the best part about these cupcake soaps is that there's no need to unmold or cut them. They make a great gift in the cupcake tins as is. How cute is that?
They're ready in time for my birthday.
Well, now I know.